I'm no longer healing. I am not broken. And neither is anybody who listens to me. Like, y'all aren't broken. We heal things that are broken. We heal a broken, right? We set a broken bone. We set, right? I was a general surgeon, so if you had a ruptured intestines, right? Like we fix that. We get that into alignment so that there's healing that takes place. Healing is natural. Healing is always occurring, but healings only happen to things that are broken, and we are not that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. I'm delighted to have with us today Dr. Tami Berry. She was a former practicing surgeon, and she's now a coach. Today, we're going to witness her story, which I think will be so helpful for so many to hear. And I have not yet heard it, so we're going to hear it together. Though I know Tami from online, I've resonated so deeply with her journey, but also the messages. They're so powerfully healing, and she's done such deep work, and now she helps other people to lean into their own work. And I'm going to read a little bit more about her here. So Dr. Tami blends bold truth telling with spiritual wisdom to help high achieving, soul seeking humans master stress, rewire their inner world, and rise into a most powerful, fully expressed version of themselves. Her work is a potent mix of science, soul, and radical self-leadership. And boy, do I see that on your online presence. And I'm so delighted to have you here. So Tami, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
And as we were discussing and what kind of just setting intentions for the audience, I really wanted to witness your journey and share it with the audience because I know it's going to captivate people in a way that can help them to shed some of the layers of shame and truly walk into a healing path. And so I invite anyone who is tuning in to get intentional, set up whatever you need to really take the information that you have, be a witness to Tami's story, and see what it brings up for you in your own healing journey.
Mm. You know, on that note, just to start, it's really interesting because language, I've gotten to this place in my life where I'm like, ooh, language like matters, our word choices are really powerful. And even when we talk about healing as a surgeon, right, my job was like really simple. I always saw it in really simple terms. I put things back into anatomic and sometimes physiologic alignment, right? If I have you in the ICU. But my job is to put you in anatomic and physiologic alignment. And there's a power greater than me that heals you, right? Like there's an infinite intelligence pulsing through your body. It's beating your heart. It's breathing your, right? And it is going to heal you. I have this same relationship with what I now call as my recovery. Like I will be recovering because I am reclaiming pieces of myself that I wrote off, I dismembered or tried to, right? Like the parts of myself I tried to bury and hide. And really, the only thing I've had to heal, right, is get myself into alignment where I stop shitting on myself all the time, where I stop being willing to see myself as flawed, broken, fucked up. To be totally honest with you, I saw myself as kind of like a fuck up. It's like I went into medicine now realizing I was trying to prove that I could, trying to prove my worth, trying to prove I was good enough, trying to prove I was smart enough, trying to really like just driven to be um good enough. And so I want to come back to that, but really at the root of like, I'm no longer healing. I am not broken. And neither is anybody who listens to me. Like, y'all aren't broken. We heal things that are broken. We heal a broken, right? We set a broken bone. We set, right? I was a general surgeon, so if you had a ruptured intestines, right? Like we fix that. We get that into alignment so that there's healing that takes place. Healing is natural. Healing is always occurring, but healings only happen to things that are broken, and we are not that. right? So this is why my whole body of work is around like rewiring the internal state, mindset shifts, somatic work, which really for me is nervous system work,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
that we can do the mindset shift work. But really, it's coming to this spiritual awakening, which I
Mm-hmm.
now know burnout is. Burnout is you're working from a paradigm that no longer serves you. And your burnout is your soul screaming, like, there's another way.
Mm-hmm.
There's another way, right? Like, and it'll bring you to your knees until you're willing to learn that lesson. The lesson is there's another way. The
Mm-hmm.
lesson is we're whole, we're valuable, we are precious aspects of all that is, and we're so important. And like, we don't come here to prove anything, we don't come here to be good enough. We just are good enough. Like, we just are. And when we know that, when we get around other people that are actually calibrated to that, and who see us with eyes that are fiercely loving, like fiercely committed to seeing the best of what's within you. And they don't see anything else. Everything else is just a stepping stone to it. Like, you, everybody that comes into my world is victorious. Like, you conquer the mountain, right? Like, you do it all. It's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of time. And so we make our way, and maybe we enjoy the journey. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe we put down the bag of stones that we're carrying. That is all of the stuff that we've inherited. It's all been imprinted, it's all inherited. I really think this is the greatest generation ever to be alive, because we have the unique privilege to liberate the trauma, the stress, the chaos that our ancestors had to endure. And we have the magnificent privilege of being able to transform it and liberate it.
Wow. Talk about the power of language. And considering what you were saying about burnout, just the difference in energy as I was listening to you, knowing from that state of despair, the energetic depletion that we get often when being out of alignment or believing that we're broken, and the just is just an energetically very exhausted state compared to what you just I just felt so empowered listening to you. I felt this weight that you said, that the stones off your shoulders. I'm curious too with the people listening how they felt,
Mm.
because as you were saying that with a conviction of inner knowing, like that you've been through a lot in order to be able to say that with such an authentic conviction. I'm really interested to hear what others felt in that. And I'm curious how you feel and how that's compared to different times of your life.
Well, even before we started recording, we were chatting a little bit, and I thought, wow, this really is the sweet spot. You and I have been crossing paths for like
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Like,
Yes.
connecting, touching on it. We really should connect. We really should have, right? So this has been a moment in the making for a really long time. And I think I've never been more convicted in the fact that burnout is the breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
more like 100% confident that burnout is a spiritual awakening than I am in this last year. Like, it's so clear to me that that's what it is. And anything else we want to call it, I mean, that's the gift of being human. We're meaning makers. Like, we make the meaning, right? We decide what anything means. And there is so much oppression and suppression and misogyny, and like, oh, this, the layers of it that I now see in healthcare in a way that I had not seen it before when I was living in it. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot there. And I have seen my journey kind of like a lot of like detoxing from this conditioning and this programming that I now realize was so similar to my upbringing that it made sense
Mm-hmm.
that I would go into this career path. And as I pivoted away from surgery and I was forging my own path ahead and I was on my healing journey, right?
Mhm.
This is the thing about a healing journey is when you see yourself as broken, you will constantly be healing. And until I surrendered this vision of this like relationship to myself as broken, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not broken. Are we
Mhm.
allowed to? Sorry, I'll try to clean it up.
This is all about being authentic. So it sounds like those words are authentic to you and they are welcome here. YouTube might have a
Okay.
story about it, but they're welcome
Well,
in
if
my,
we have to bleep it out, we will. Whatever.
yeah.
So, this, like, I'm done. Like, that narrative is just done. I'm done. I'm not broken. I am not broken. I have adopted a lot of beliefs about myself that say I am, but I'm not those
Mhm.
things. Right. And I carried that for many, many, many years. And when we think we're broken, we'll be healing forever. That's really the truth of it. And when we realize, when we come to this epiphany moment where we're like, oh, wait, this happened for me. My burnout is my opportunity to begin again. My burnout is an opportunity to realize I've been playing a game with a set of rules that were actually never designed for me. From a paradigm that was really birthed in the industrial, like the age of industrialization, it's just not applicable anymore, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And for me, I see it as like we're in the age of information right now, right? The amount of information that's being generated right now, like every hour is exponentially more than the amount of information that was made in like all of the 1980s and 1990s. Like it's just the amount of information right now is just epic. And where I see like the people that I work with are like these self-led leaders that forgot to self-lead and be the visionaries for their lives because they fell into this other paradigm, right, from the Industrial Revolution. And where they're being invited to walk is actually now into like the age of intelligence, where we are united with the intelligence of our hearts, where we're united with the intelligence that's always flowing through us and to us. We're at one with a power so much bigger than ourselves, and we're willing to co-create this life with unseen forces that allow us to show up and be an expression of our highest selves. And we do that by rewiring, right? We rewire all of the conditioning and the programming that has us thinking anything other than the highest quality thoughts about ourselves. And then life changes.
It's so beautiful. I mean, the just hearing you and tuning in to how your utilization of the words and shift away from the terminology healing, I felt that at like a molecular level within my whole body
Mm.
about what I mean, this conversation for me is there will be a before Tammy conversation and an after. And
Those are my favorite
yeah,
conversations.
literally, I just, oh my gosh, it's going to change the language I use because I can feel it within my body right now
Mm.
about what that shift does.
Mm-hmm.
And you said spiritual awakening. And so if I were to extract healing, how do you describe someone coming back in to their own self? Or I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
shift now the vision that I have with this healing journey. How do you communicate that to other people?
Yeah. I think it's a journey of recovery and reclamation.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Like
Powerful
we
words.
swap one for the other, right?
Yeah.
It's you're really probably using the terms in a way that are very similar.
Hmm.
It's just that the root of it is so different.
Yeah.
And because this is what's so interesting about language is the intentionality behind it determines our experience of it,
Mhm.
right? So I just led the vision masterclass for the, right before this. I finished like 20 minutes before this, and it's so delicious. It's so good because we have to be the visionaries, right, of our lives. We have to cast the vision. And when we do that from our heart space, from our wholeness, it's different than setting goals. Because when we set a goal, so often it's coming from a wound.
Hmm. Hmm.
And whenever you achieve a goal that's rooted in a wound, you end up more wounded.
Oh gosh, can you repeat that and elaborate, please?
Whenever you achieve a goal that's rooted in a wound, you end up more wounded.
Mm-hmm.
So my wounding was I should prove myself.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably be good enough. So I go into surgery of all things,
Yep. Here,
which for me,
here.
which
Cheers.
here, yeah, like
Cheers with
this ought to
water.
do
We
it.
I know that
This
I think we both don't drink alcohol now. So
That's
cheers with
right. I have
water.
water.
Yeah, I have water here too. Um, wow. Uh,
So
totally my intentions for going into surgery too. So
like I don't think we're alone.
no,
I
we're
don't think
not.
we're
No,
alone.
we're not.
So and I also grew up in a very controlling environment. Also made sense that I went into surgery. I can control that environment, right? Like it all makes so much sense when you understand how humans work. When you understand how the human brain develops, how the nervous system predicates, like when you understand real development of a human, it all makes perfect sense. And so I get to take all the shame and blame right off of myself, right? It's like,
Ah,
oh, of course I became an alcoholic and a drug addict. Like I was stressed AF. I thought I was trapped. I thought I had no choices. I had an existential crisis. I see things before other people do. I
mhm.
saw that there was going to be a venture capital takeover of healthcare about a decade before it happened. I had made medicine my God. I was in crisis.
Mhm.
I grew up with an alcoholic addicted father
Yeah.
who was absent a good portion of the time. Like it just makes so like you put all these pieces together and you're like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I want people to hear this too in the context of when it comes to mental health stigma, makes zero sense to me. Makes zero sense that we are going to stigmatize mental health and also dial it down because for me, at least in multiple contexts, and I know that there's going to be exceptions to this, but just thinking about experiences of many of us, I'm also highly sensitive where we tend to be the canaries in the coal mines. And for people who are denying their basic needs, who are in a system that makes them compromise their values, it is natural and very human to feel like shit. To then say that something's wrong with you because you feel depressed and anxious and hopeless, that makes zero sense to me because it would be very important to have these sirens going off. I think it would actually be pathologic and maybe a consequence of numbing. My numbing agent of choice was an eating disorder, which was the solution to the underlying problem, which was the spiritual crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And people pathologize and focus on the addictions as the problem, like, no, those are the solutions, and they make a lot of sense in the context
Makes so much sense.
of the pain. And then we stigmatize it. And anyone that's feeling the shame and the stigma, that's a societal construct. And I hope that you hear Tami here and ask yourself, like, is this that moment that you are having that spiritual awakening?
Mm-hmm.
And I have experienced it in just the way that you say it. And so I strongly support and advocate for your message as being true. It certainly was true for me. It sounds very true for you. And I think it would be so true and just lift that weight of stigma and shame off of people that just never needed to be there. But I think societal messages and all these ways that we should be are causing so much pain that's just
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary.
Yeah, optional.
Yeah. So the way that you said it, it's like, of course. Well,
Yeah,
of course you feel like shit. Well,
yeah.
of course that you would lean on alcohol. Well, of course, of course.
Of course, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's like, okay, what are we going to do with it now? Oh, okay. We're going to rebalance our nervous system because I actually grew up in a really stressful childhood and my nervous system was attuned to stress. And so I was going to keep recreating these stressful environments because my nervous system was attuned to it. The
Mhm.
work of Gabor Mate has changed my life,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
do, oh, I don't have it here at my desk. I use biofeedback monitoring with my clients, and we do HRV biofeedback monitoring. They rebalance their nervous systems. We start recalibrating their
Mhm.
energetic biochemical set points, right? Like we do all of this work because it is mission critical to regaining the ability to be self-directed.
Mm.
You think you're in control of your thoughts and you've been so good at creating, right? Like your mind has been a magnificent tool for the majority of your life. And then you hit this point in your life where your nervous system is so saturated with stress that you lose the ability to be self directed. You're not in charge anymore of your thoughts. You're not in charge anymore of your actions. You're looking at yourself like, who am I?
Mhm. Mhm.
Who is this person? I guess I'm just an asshole now.
Mhm.
I guess I'm just a bitch. I guess I'm just being sent again to like for some sort of pip fucking review. I don't know. Like how many,
Yeah.
right? Like you need to be better with the nurse. Like all of the stuff women have to go through in medicine is
Yeah.
beyond absurd.
Hmm.
But the the point that when we understand that we make sense. We make sense. Neurobiologically, we make perfect sense.
Yeah.
And when you lose the ability to be patient and kind and loving and the way that you want to be, there is nothing that aggravates one's shame cycle more than perpetually living below your personal internal compass, right? So I often talk about like ego shame and then soul shame. So like ego shame is what drives us into these high achieving positions, right? Our wounding, right, has us do the cycle of achievement and we end up more wounded. And in that stress cycle, what ends up happening is we start living by patterns that don't serve us anymore. We're living on caffeine and cortisol. We're so stressed, we can't live to our highest vision. We can't live to our highest selves. We're stuck in thought patterns and emotional patterns and choices and behaviors that are so beneath us. And then we experience soul shame because we are living so far beneath what we know we are capable of. And that is where and that is where we are in real danger. Like that is the point where we want to wake up. When you have that moment where you're like, I don't know how much longer I can go on like this, something's going to break. That moment is where like something's going to break and it's your heart is going to break open and you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I have choice. And because I have conscious choice, I've been divinely designed with a nervous system and a heart and everything I need to get my life back on track. And now it gets to be better than I ever thought possible because now I get to create my goals from my heart, from my highest self, from these ideals that have been like wanting to birth through me that I've denied. Like, this is the recovery, this is the reclamation. Massive life force energy, massive power and potential, massive opportunity for love, joy. Like everything that we really thought we were going to get is available when we realize burnout is for us.
And that's also the time where people are most vulnerable. This is speaking by experience, and the caveat is that it's speaking by experience, but that what you captured there is the point where I think people take their lives. Not
It
real,
is.
not realizing that it's that catalytic moment that's going to propel them into this awakening. It's every single time I've been in that despair where I've contemplated taking my own life, it's been followed by a rebirth and a freedom of the spirit. And all of this weight, it's just this shedding of layers. I'm reading this book called Transforming Depression. I think that's the title, but it talks about like ego-cide, and what it aligns with what your message is there is like, you're just realizing that all this messaging was just weight, and that your soul is saying, I need out. I need expansion. I need to breathe. I need to go into my highest self. And this societal construct, the misogyny, the patriarchy, the microaggressions we face, like that is not it, but we don't see it when we're swimming in it. Just like you said, it was so hard to see it when you were in it.
Mm-hmm.
You also said things that had kept coming up about when our physiologic set point from childhood and whatever it went is anxious or in this frequency that's here until we notice that that's a frequency of which our nervous system has been acclimated, yet it can be reset to a frequency of which is more sustainable and calm. Could you elaborate more on that and how you support people in getting to like a nervous system reset that is more in alignment with sustainable well-being?
Yeah. I um it's some of my favorite work, because once you start doing this work, the nervous system is actually a natural processor of stress and trauma when it's in balance, right? So when I mentioned Gabor Mate's name, it's really his work that helped me realize that unless we're actively working on rebalancing our nervous system will constantly be searching and seeking and recreating this same the same level of nervous system activation that it experienced from in utero until the age of 25, right? So that's the window that the nervous system is acclimating until the prefrontal cortex is online. The nervous system is an attunement. It is seeking to find its chord in relation to its most immediate surroundings. This is also why what we're seeing right now, especially post COVID, is that we have the highest number of children with anxiety disorders, right? Unprecedented. Why? Because their parents are, because society is. And these little nervous systems are, there's no thinking, right? It's not, this is pre-verbal. This is like inherent to our biological systems that we are designed for nervous system attunement, right? This is actually where emotional contagion lives, right? Is in this nervous system's ability to sense other nervous systems. And it affects how we think. Because when the nervous system is in a chronically stressed state, we are thinking from the reptilian brain, right? Which is really rooted in core survival. It makes us defensive, it makes us aggressive, it makes us quick to fear. We go worst case scenario, time shortage consciousness, body consciousness, all of these things rooted in the reptilian brain. What I do with my clients is nervous system rebalancing work, and they get a biofeedback monitor so that they know that it's working in real time, right? And at first, the first 21 days, the first 21 to 30 days is really rooted in like, we're just rebalancing, we're just getting an appreciation for these scores. We tend to be really hard on ourselves. So we're not even aiming for anything other than appreciating that there is valuable information here, right? And the gift of that is that as we rebalance, as we settle down, this is a real detox period because the body is so used to living on cortisol, right? And basically, epinephrine, norepinephrine, all these things are like cocaine, right? Like I was an amphetamine addict for a reason, you know, because my body was like living on that,
Yep.
And when I got to the point of my burnout, which was like very similar to adrenal fatigue, I was supplementing, right? Because my body was used to seeing these biochemicals. I was driven to them. That's a whole nother addiction story. But in this work, what we do is we start rebalancing and then we start feeling so much better, right? It's like, oh my gosh, this is so fascinating. And then we go into a phase where we start really appreciating the biofeedback system that is us. And as we're rebalancing, as we're building heart brain coherence, that is what we're strengthening, right? These like 40,000 neurons around your heart have the ability to regulate the billions, trillions of neurons in your brain and the trillions of neurons in your body. These little 40,000 neurons around your heart, right? Yeah. Fascinating. The way humans are designed, like, do you just love like I loved medicine. I loved learning about all, like, the human body is so phenomenal. So like
the mind, the what aspects of what you're bringing back into, I think medicine could be so much more if it continued to integrate all the things we extracted, so that we're bringing in, just like you were saying, we're attuned. And Dr. Dan Siegel is a psychiatrist, and he said the healing presence, I'm using again, but in the context of patient and physician relationship, is to promote that healing environment. He gave an acronym, which is you have presence, P, you attune, just like you said. We're sitting here and I can feel your energy and all the things you've done in order to ground yourself. Like I can feel you're calmer than me. Your energetic state to me feels like it's calming me to be in your presence, which makes me feel that it makes me wonder, like, I want more intrigue about how to get myself there, because it feels just this, I feel it here. I feel when I talk to you, I'm here. And a couple hours ago, I was like, yeah, like you. So I just feel it, right? I'm attuned to what you're saying and the energy of how you're saying it. Back to Dan Siegel, because I think about too many things at one time. But Dan Siegel, acronym is PART: presence, attunement, resonance, so that we're not absorbing other people's energy, but we're able to resonate with them, and trust, creating trust that you have safety. And when you're talking about the prefrontal cortex going offline, I really want physicians tuning in, anyone tuning in here that is feeling so lost. I think we need to point out the limitations of thought work when you're in this state where your prefrontal cortex is offline and you're in this reptilian brain and you're trying to like dream. No, like the things you're talking about, they're the first step to then bring in your conscious awareness and really be fully present, because without it, we're in survival mode. And then when we can't think because we're in survival mode, we judge ourselves for that rather than lean into what is truly necessary. And I think it's what you're presenting right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To do mindset, if you're experiencing burnout, to do mindset work before you do nervous system rebalancing work is a setup for failure 100% of the time. It's just neurobiology, right? It's just science. Like it's like, it's not personal, like it's so not personal. And we make it personal when it's not. And this is why I think it's really helpful to work with a coach or work with somebody who's been through it, who's been through burnout, who's been through their own traumas and is on the recovery journey, because this is territory that I believe requires lived experience. I just do. And particularly from somebody who is obsessed with understanding the science behind it. And I think the intersection of science and spirituality, I mean, that's really what science is, right? Like, we're just trying to figure out what's already here. Like, that science is just trying to make sense of what is so magnificent, like, and around us, right? Like, we still don't know, like, how does a baby like, we know a few things, but there's so much we don't know. And this is exciting. We don't have to make it a problem. I loved there are so many things on my mind right now about. So first, we rebalance the nervous system. We recalibrate our biochemical set point, our energetic set point, our emotional set point. And then we go into a phase where we start recreating our reality. And that's when it gets really fun. That's my body of work in a nutshell. Stress Mastery Academy teaches you how to rebalance your nervous system and recalibrate. And then when you join me, it's invitation only for the mastermind or a one-on-one experience. You're invited to do all of that work, rebalance, recalibrate, and recreate, because that's what we came here to do. We're creators, and we came here to create. And when we stop creating, we feel terrible. Like we just feel terrible. So that's my body of work. But what you said was really interesting, and what Dan Siegel does is remarkable, like no doubt about it. Um, the other thing that I want to mention is the the pervasive approach that we have to being human is it has become one of where we pathologize everything. We've made being a human a pathology.
Mm.
If you look at the original DSM manual, right? It was like a pamphlet. Okay. It was like literally a little stack of papers. And now, if you look at it, it is literally
I have a lot of thoughts about this DSM. Like we could have a whole another episode on this. There's a book called Saving Normal. Have you heard of it?
what is it called?
Saving Normal. I know The Myth of
Mm,
Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate, but Saving Normal is by Dr. Francis or something like that. I'm not
mm,
sure the name. I'll put a link in the description, but Saving
yeah.
it is a book written by someone who had direct involvement with the creation of, I think that one of the DSM versions. And he talks about really the problems with the DSM, like how it was
Mm,
meant to be used, how it's misused, and exactly what I use the DSM against myself. Therefore, it creates extraordinary pain. It was used against me to then I lost my career for seeking mental health support, which was tied to the DSM diagnosis. And DSM created barriers to my own treatment. And so I have a lot, and the DSM gets anorexia wrong, which is my lived experience of a condition that I see in the DSM. So it makes me wonder, what else is it getting wrong? Like, what else
mm,
doesn't make any sense? And how is it being used? And what ways maybe is it creating benefit by getting people access to care? And where is it causing harm? Which is goes back to what you're saying about being broken. When I was getting these labels from the DSM, I identified so deeply with them, and they propelled me to say, I'm not worthy of life. Here's all the
mm,
ways. Here's all the ways. And that was my own misuse of the DSM, but I know that it's misused like that by many other people. So I could go into this whole monologue on my thoughts on the DSM. I know it's really charged, so I'm not going to. I would like to invite it back to you when it comes to what you were going to say about the DSM.
just that I think that we have this relationship, we've dehumanized ourselves. That is ultimately when you pathologize the human condition, when you make having any emotion wrong, when you make any of your lived experience wrong, you are dehumanizing yourself. And from this moment forward, anybody who's listening to this, you've got to decide it's a non negotiable. From this moment forward, you decide that you're living rooted in self respect, self honor, and self kindness. Like that's it. If you wouldn't say it to your sister, to your mother, to your grandmother, to your daughter, you don't say it to you. Period.
And
And that's how we reclaim our humanity.
yeah, at this moment, I'm feeling like the tears building up here and like the tears of allowing this to just be extracted from all of the years of
Yeah.
it being the dialogue, the narrative that wreaked havoc. And it's 100% confident that people will be like, wait a second, wait a second. I don't have to be mean to myself, and some resistance of wait a second, wait a second. I don't want to be self-serving. I don't want to be narcissistic. I don't want to be XYZ when it comes to giving yourself self-love. I think that this barrier to self-love
Mm.
has been put on us as a way to control us. And reclaiming your power, I just posted this before our conversation, so it's top of mind, but to be able to love yourself at any given moment is reclaiming that power. What do you think?
Well, Jillian, I think it's so interesting that you said this because I purposely didn't use the word self-love because people like us, that is so far away.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That is like, I don't even know what that is. That's for those people. That's for those people. That's not for me. I said self-respect. I said self-honoring, and I said self-kindness because those every human is worthy of. Every human deserves that. And so do you. Self-love is like, let's 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 play there. Let's see. Let's open up to it. I love that conversation. We want we like I've been doing this work for so long that I realized it was ostracizing people because self-love is like it's too far of a reach. It is like when we look at emotional scales, I like the work of transcending levels of consciousness, Hawkins.
Yeah,
Um,
David Hawkins.
it's
I'll
David
put
Hawkins.
books in the description too, because I love them too.
Yeah. And so he talks about like kind of like the energy that's associated with different emotional states. And in my body of work, this is why so much of my work focuses on emotional recalibration because we can't go from chronically stressed to love. Why? Because there's a biochemical signature that actually is experienced in the human body that we sense and we call it an emotion, right? It's a biochemical signature. So if I'm feeling chronically stressed, frustrated, pissed off, angry, defeated, depressed, whatever, and somebody starts talking about love, I don't have a chance. Biochemically, I don't have a chance. But what I can do is start to rebalance my nervous system, and now I get to recalibrate my emotions, and I get to just tiptoe my way, right? I get to tiptoe my way 1% every day into what are considered more renewing, regenerative emotions, because these actually replenish cellular at a cellular level, right? These emotional states that are more attuned, more aligned with love and joy and appreciation, they're life-giving, they're regenerative, they're renewing. So for me, there's this spectrum of stressful emotion and renewing emotion.
Yeah.
Stressful emotion is a sieve energetically. We're just wasting emotion, right? We're just wasting energy. But it's not negative.
Right.
This idea that we have negative and positive emotions, I think, is part of like the problem with the language around emotions. They're all valuable.
Yes. Yes.
They're all exquisitely valuable pieces of information that are telling us something about how we think and our beliefs and our thoughts about ourselves and our world. So valuable. But
Even
we want to be with somebody that helps us work with them in a way that is helpful.
I'm going to share this turtle here if you were curious what I was grabbing. This turtle, it reminds me of what you were just saying. And I like the turtle in terms of in this community, people, high achievers, want to go from A to B as fast as possible and
Sure.
just
Me
showcase,
too.
right? What you just showcase is that we can do ourselves a strong disservice by not recognizing the steps along the way that are part of that path from A to, I mean, there is no B, really. It's this path. And the stepping stones of when people often come in from burnout and they want to dream, it goes back to kind of what we're saying before and also what you just said now is when you're feeling like absolute shit, bottom of the barrel, to try to get yourself to like, I'm in a dream and I'm in a resource into the state of joy, that to me would feel offensive at the time, when I'm in deep pain and I can barely feel neutral. So I really valued, you pointed that out, and what word came to me was that compassion, that self-compassion in terms of being there in that moment of suffering. That thing, I mean, it's often when our mind is offering all these reasons why we hate ourselves, and to reclaim and kind of pause that narrative is, I'm going to honor this emotion that might feel unpleasant, though it's not a negative emotion. It doesn't feel very pleasant. And it's the energetically depleting one that you were just mentioning. I
Mm-hmm.
really value how you captured that, because it's honoring and normalizing that when we're in that state and someone gives us a stretch goal that feels so out of reach, it can be so overwhelming that we freeze. We don't take a step at all. At least that's kind
Yeah.
of,
Oh, and it fuels the cycle of learned helplessness
yes, yeah, yeah.
because it's an impossible task. It's like, how, imagine this. You have a manufacturing plant that's producing diesel vehicles, and you own this plant, and you make an executive decision. Tomorrow, we are going to start producing electric cars. And the manufacturing, the guys that are running the joint are like, we don't have the parts for that. So we gotta bring them in and manufacture them and build them, and then like, so we can't do it tomorrow. We might need a few months to make that happen. And imagine if the executive is like pissed off, frustrated, like is like, fuck you. You know, like, I said tomorrow. And the people are like, it's just an impossible task. It's an impossible ask.
I
We are the same biochemically.
hear that metaphor a lot within the healthcare system.
Do you?
That the metaphor played out in reality. You
Oh, right.
provided the
I see.
metaphor,
I was like,
but
really?
all you provided
Okay.
the metaphor, but I was hearing the stories that synced up with the metaphor about, now your schedule's this, your expectation of RVUs is this, and if you don't
Mm,
do it, your job is at stake. And the admin people, or the people who are making the decision, who don't have hands on deck, are coming in that threatening tone, or it's
mm,
at least perceived as such. But it is a lot of, okay, well, now here's, I mean, that's part of what is the issue. It's a huge part of what's the issue with the healthcare system, is we're having these unrealistic expectations set of us, and we're of the type that thinks that we should be able to achieve whatever is set out in front of us, without acknowledging, wait a second, you just asked me to
mm,
create electric cars when I was manufacturing diesel engines and diesel cars in this moment. Like that metaphor, I want people to be able to grasp and be like, oh, that's what's going on here. It's not a problem of my capacity. It's that I don't have the parts. Just like you said, I was doing this, and this is what I was really good at doing. And now I've been asked to do something where I could be great at that when given time and the appropriate
mhm,
resources.
mhm,
If time and the appropriate resources are ever going to be something that's created by that system, or we can say, no, that's actually never going to work out. So then we get to decide what to do about that.
mhm. Yeah. You know what you're speaking to, Jillian? It's a reason why I stopped working one-on-one with physicians and surgeons that were staying in healthcare. Because in my program, what I teach people, right, optimizes you to be insanely resilient. And I'm no longer willing to be complicit in the extraction of human capital. I'm no longer willing. I'm not. You have to find another coach. If you want to pivot and you want to liberate yourself and you want to keep helping people and you want to create something new with this vast amount of knowledge and information that you have, and you want to optimize your nervous system, your brain, your body, and work and leverage, right, leverage what's within you and leverage unseen forces so that everything is working for you, that's when you come to me. I am no longer a cog in the wheel or an accomplice to what I see as a crime on humanity. I'm
Oh,
not. It broke my heart. I worked with a lot of physicians who came to me like on the brink of having to retire early because of their burnout, and and then they went on to leadership positions and all of these things, and because they could. But I saw that the core pattern of self-sacrifice, they couldn't let that one go. And that's when I knew, like, going forward, my work is that I am not. I am like, that will burn me out.
okay. I have to share with you what that just hit in my like deep, deep layers here.
Yeah.
When I took my medical leave from surgery, in hindsight, I read my journals. I was coaching myself back into the system. I kept coaching myself. Okay, you can do this. You can do it. And like right now, I want to cry because I didn't do it. And now that decision to not do it makes sense. It makes sense and it made sense. But hearing you in that way to say, I will no longer be complicit and to recognize where we are at here together and to give that back to that self who was so upset that she didn't make it work. It goes back to what you said at the beginning. It was never, it was this that was wanting to make it work, but my soul and my heart already knew it was time to step away. And it sounds like you know yourself so well. You could no longer be complicit, as you said, in being that person that helps people heal so much that they can do anything. And what they are choosing to do is go back and be in that system that's familiar, but also with the familiarity comes that self-sacrifice. As you said, they weren't able to detach from. What do you think makes the difference between someone who is able to detach from that self-sacrifice versus someone who's not?
Well, this is why I work with people that want to pivot. I work mostly with the entrepreneurial mind,
Yeah.
the entrepreneurial minded person, because they crave freedom on their own terms. They are self-led leaders and visionaries who need help leading and visioning, right? Like they know what they want, they know where they're headed. They've grown up. Like, if you don't know if you had a stressful childhood, check your ACE score. Okay. Adverse childhood events. I had no idea. Like, I have so many of these things. So it's a miracle we're sitting here.
Yeah.
It is a miracle we're sitting here. It is a miracle we're sitting here. I overdosed twice. My heart stopped twice. The first time it happened, I resuscitated myself. And I knew I had a problem. I had overdosed on amphetamines. I was not outwardly like I did not self-identify as somebody who was suicidal. I was like, I better get my shit together. This is a problem. Like, clean it up, Tami. And that's when I realized how addicted I really was, because it wasn't 3 months later. I went into VTAC again, resuscitated myself. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is this is beyond. And that moment was like, I felt so trapped. This is what is shared amongst all people with burnout, is we already defied the odds. We've endured with what we've endured in our childhood, what we've accomplished, what we've achieved has been like climbing Mount Everest. We're fucking champs. We are so amazing. And we get ourselves caught in a narrative that tells us we're shit. And the truth is, we're the shit.
Mhm. Oh,
We've already defied the odds. We get to do it again. We get to do it as many times as we want to. We didn't get it wrong. It's all part of the learning process. Where's the scientific method, people? Right? You try a hypothesis, you test it out, and if it doesn't work, you come up with a new one. The spirit of the scientific mind. We just want it back and in our lives, right? Like, I want to play. I want to try again. Where's the next experiment? Where do I prize learning over being right? Where do I prize growth and evolution over like checking the box?
fitting in the box.
Fitting in the box. Fuck the box.
Yeah.
The box was never made for us.
Yeah.
It was never made for us. And when you realize what you're really co-creating with, which is a power that creates worlds, right? The power that built your nervous system, the power that beats your heart, the power that like the sophistication of the human body is so exquisite. And the beauty of the human mind, like we're just scratching the surface on what consciousness really is. This is the leading edge. This is the leading edge. I'm so excited to be at the leading edge of what it is, like this merging of science and spirituality and optimizing human potential. We get to create what we want. We get to have the businesses we love. We get to have the family we love. We get to have the work we love. We get to have the body we love. We get to have it all. And anything that tells us otherwise is bullshit.
Yep. Yep. I was trying to create a title for my book that I write a lot of blogs in place of reading a book. So my book may never come out because I'm like, I can't wait to just get out the writing. So I just keep publishing the blogs instead. But it's like to really free ourselves from the societal bullshit. Like that's what it is. It's just all this messaging has been societal bullshit. And if we call it for what it is, we can, I love the word liberate, liberate ourselves. And gosh, I could talk to you forever and ever and ever, and I would love to. But I know we're going to have to let people know where they can continue to connect with you. And of course, I would love to invite you on this channel again and to continue to hear your wisdom and to be part of this life with you. I know that's selfish for me because holy heck, like everything that you shared, I'm like I said before, I will have a before Tami discussion self and now entering this new life of this after Tami discussion. So I know people are going to want to know how they can connect with you. Can you please share?
That means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, I'm around. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. Um, I've got, the website, drtamiberry.com. I have a podcast, Dr. Tami Talks, and that's really a valuable resource for a lot of people. And you can find ways to work with me through my website. DM me. Like honestly, if this conversation stirred something in you, you get to trust that. You get to listen to that. Um, when you're ready to know that you're not broken, when you're ready to reclaim your life and you're ready to recover you, you know, um, that is the most incredible work you could ever do for yourself. And it's not really even just for you, right? It's like we do this work and it ends up liberating not just us, but our lineage. This is the most exquisite time to be alive. We are gifted with an incredible moment in human history where we get to have the incredible opportunity to do this kind of work that shifts nervous systems, alters DNA, right? Changes the future. And truly, right now, we're already our ancestors' wildest dreams come true. We are. You are. If you're listening to this, you are your ancestors' wildest dreams come true. You've got everything you need to go where you really want to go and do what you really want to do and have the life that you are meant for. And burnout is the opportunity for you to like claim it, to change the game, to change the inner game and create an outer world that you absolutely love.
I've
It would
never
be an honor to
been so
work with
grateful.
anybody that's listening to this,
I was going to
truly.
say, I've never been so grateful for the extremes of burnout in my life, right?
Yeah.
You can take a moment to appreciate. Actually, if you're in it, it probably sounds insulting. I know if someone told me to,
It shouldn't though. I like honestly, I really hope if you're in it and this sounds insulting to
no,
you,
not what you said, what I was going to say.
oh, I was like, I don't know. Like,
Not what
what
you
do I say
said.
to that? What do I say
I'm
to that?
going to elaborate on what, I'm going to elaborate. It would have been the toxic positivity. Oh, find gratitude in that right now. You may not see it. That might be too far of a stretch. In that moment
Mm.
where I was feeling the deep pain, probably not what I need. Um, I think everything that you said was beautiful. So it was what I was about to say. That could be, I'm going to just claim that and allow us to let the audience reflect on what they would like to take away and an invitation to share without pressure, always an invitation to
Mhm.
share what you'd like to remember and anything about yourself that would help set intentions and really support us in developing this community, because connection is what mitigates this trauma that we're experiencing and allows us to move forward in the way that we're supposed to be, which is not isolated. And it is in this connection. And you were mentioning in the beginning of something greater than ourselves, which is what we all have here is something greater than ourselves. And I think our societal bullshit about individualism is really steering us astray from how we're meant to be, which is connected.
Mm. Yeah, we can't not be. Like, we're so interconnected. Like when you look at what's really going on here and you see like when you go to the quantum and the subquantum and you're like, okay, okay, there's some serious magic going on here, y'all. Like, yeah, it's ridiculously fascinating what's really going on here. And that's why it's actually really important that we have conversations like this that help us see our help us see that we're not broken, help us see what our real power is, and help us know that there's a path forward that allows us to reclaim who we once were. Like everybody that's listening to this already defied the odds because they are powerful beings, because they directed their mind towards something and they achieved it. Imagine what's possible when you're not anchored in your wounding, but you're anchored in the wonder of who you are, right? Like, what do you create from your life from there? Because it will bring you to tears on a regular basis, tears of joy, tears of delight, tears of like, how good can it get? Don't you want to find out? That's my favorite work. How good can it get? Let's find out.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Dr. Tami, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
yourself, for sharing so much of your wisdom and mainly your whole being here with us today. I'm going to share the ways that people can find you and trust that they will connect with you in the way that their soul craves and yearns. And as you said, when those people are thinking, should I message her or not, follow your heart's path. You'll know.
You'll know.